Thanks for being patient with us this morning. I know some of you had to wait to log on, so we appreciate you hanging in there. This week, we're going to talk with a couple of my favorite clients that I've had the chance to work with here at the SBDC. And my first client is Todd Gates. He's the president of Windrows Flooring, and I got to know Todd this summer, and let's hear a little bit about his company, Windrows Flooring, and what his experience has been working with the SBDC.
It is a very friendly area to import, to warehousing. Just when you start looking at the logistics of servicing the U.S. and even the world, Nevada is a very business-friendly area. I'll tell you what I really found extraordinarily helpful is there are, it's number one, it's having somebody that you can bounce ideas off of, but you and your team provided me with resources such as that really helped in the plan development. It's one thing to have these ideas in your head, but to have these tools that help you articulate the ideas, really critically important, along with and it became especially important in this pandemic era to find, let's call them more flexible resources. Conventional financing at the moment is not even the slightest bit interested in startups. They'll come right out and tell you, no, that's not on our agenda at the moment. They don't even want to take the meeting. So having somebody like yourself who has these connections with alternative sources was extremely valuable.
With clients like Todd, one of the best things about my job is not only do I get to share my advice and information about getting their business started and making connections for them, but I also get to learn a lot. I hadn't previously known very much about flooring or even antimicrobial properties. And as you'll see here in this next interview we can learn a little bit more about what makes Windrows Flooring so special and the properties that they're using to protect everyone from virus and bacteria.
Windrows Flooring is almost two distinct entities or divisions. We'll call it divisions. I have an OEM division, which is an original equipment manufacturer, so there's a material supply that I do to other people who are in my industry. And I also have a finished flooring division, which takes all of the designs that we've created and we've developed as Windrose Flooring designs, and we provide those to regional distributors across the country. Up until now, the use of antimicrobial floors was somewhat specific to the healthcare industry. It was primarily operating rooms and hospitals and things like this. It was a aftermarket application that was going on top of a floor that over time it would wash off with routine maintenance and needed to be recoated. What Windrose is doing that's substantially different is we're using instead of a nano silver technology, which has its own drawbacks, we are using a copper and zinc formula, and instead of applying it on top of the floor and it washing off, we're actually mixing it into the surface wear layer in the production. So in a thick wear layer that's going to be on that floor for 20 years, our floors will have that performance characteristic for the entire 20 years without the need to recoat it.
So as you can see, really interesting stuff that we're talking about here. And I'd like to introduce my client, Todd Gates from Windrows Flooring. He's joined us here today for a conversation to talk about not just the technology component of his product, but what else makes it really special. So welcome, Todd, to Tech Tuesdays. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about what makes Windrows Flooring really unique outside of the antimicrobial property.
Well, the performance characteristics are important, but it's all meaningless unless you can create the aesthetics as well. One of the things that we were very keen to do from the onset was to make sure that the designs we were creating were ageless, they were timeless. What you see today, because the product category is so popular, is that there's a lot of different companies getting involved in the product category. Well, what that creates is a lot of what we call shelf designs, and what happens is people go out and they select this design or that design based on what's trending at the moment. So you're putting a floor down that's going to last 10, 20, 30 years, and it's following a fashion trend that's going to last for the next 2 or 3. So the designs that we've created have been designs that we know are more timeless, more ageless. They're going to outlast fashion trends.
And so tell us a little bit about how long you've been involved in the flooring industry and your experience knowing what do consumers really find timeless and ageless in beauty?
Well, I started in flooring late 70s, so I've been in it for quite a long time. I've worked for a few other manufacturers, and I've learned quite a bit through the trial and error, specifically what works in the product category and what doesn't. Sometimes what looks good in a natural timber stone doesn't necessarily translate literally into our product category. So it's been a long road and a long learning curve, but what we've come up with now is what we think is the best combination of aesthetics and performance.
And so what's on the horizon for Windrose over the next year? You are ready to take on distributors and sell to the world?
We're currently selling, most of our projects are international. We're going into other countries, but we are getting our path to market laid out for regional distributors here in the U.S. We are going to be approaching these regional distributors. They'll take on inventory of the product and displays, and they'll have a sales force that goes out to the flooring stores, your local flooring stores, and they'll place product displays in those flooring stores where consumers can come in and see the floor and make their product selections.
Terrific. Well, you know, it's been really such a pleasure to work with you, and I know our team has learned a lot, and it's been interesting to learn about all of the ways to find capital that are outside of the traditional methods, and that's something that we've spent a lot of time talking about. So in addition to the antimicrobial properties and flooring itself, I've had a lot of chance to really explore some new areas with you, and really appreciate you coming on today and sharing your product and sharing your company. Is there anything else that you would like everybody to know, or how can they find your products, Todd?
Well, at the moment, the only place to see them is online. We are in the midst, across the next 8 to 12 months, we will be establishing national distribution when these displays and our products will start showing up in the retail stores. For now, it's just at our website, and you can request samples. You can see anything you want to see there. There's contact information for any questions that anybody has beyond what's provided on the website.
Okay, well, for business or for residential, ask for Windrows Flooring when you're shopping, and you'll be able to do business with our local business owner here, Todd Gates, with Windrows Flooring. So thanks a lot for coming on today, Todd.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, and next we're going to talk to another client here at Blackfire, and Small Business Development Center client of mine, Activate Entertainment. We're going to get the chance to talk with Ford Frigeri. Activate is a multifaceted entertainment company that is pushing the edge with technology, and they've probably put on productions that you've even seen and you just haven't realized it. In fact, they are helping us produce these Tech Tuesdays every week and bring them to you. So we definitely want to give them a shout out and say thank you for that. I think we've got Ford ready here for our interview this morning. So Ford, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, tell us a little bit about Activate Entertainment and where's your home base and how did you get here?
So we are a production and broadcast studio based out of Blackfire Innovations in partnership with Caesars Entertainment and UNLV. We've been doing this for a few years now. Our bread and butter is esports, but we're looking to expand outside of esports. Esports has given us a great opportunity to get our foot in the door, and I think it's going to be a really great launch pad for our future.
So I've had a great chance to work with you guys and talk with you a lot, and I know that the COVID-19 pandemic took a huge toll on a lot of production companies, and a lot of them haven't been able to recover yet. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with Activate and how have you guys been affected, and how are you working through it?
So we definitely got hit hard. All of Nevada got hit hard. We had a lot of live events lined up that we were going to be working on, and obviously everything got canceled. But lucky for us, because we had that experience in esports, we were familiar with ingesting feeds off-site already and kind of the process for doing that. So because of esports, we were able to, in esports, there was a lot of opportunity for remote stuff already, but it gave us the tools and the knowledge to do different types of events, such as what we're doing right now. So we kind of got to think outside the box, be a little more creative, and put on shows and content that people were really, there was a huge appetite for it with everything being down and dead.
Yeah, and then I think a lot of broadcast groups had to switch over to remote production, correct? I mean, since they couldn't have guests and they didn't have a large amount of space or couldn't all be in the same space. So how were you guys at Activate handling that? And what was your standard for setting up like esports productions remotely?
It definitely has its own challenges, obviously. We like to have everything on site so that we have more control over these types of things, but there's just a lot more variables when things are off site. But like I said, esports was a great opportunity for us to learn how to do these things, because when we're ingesting a feed from off site, it doesn't matter if it's a video game feed or a camera feed from talent, it's just a feed to us. So we're actually able to mess around with the way that we do things, and we already knew how to bring in those offsite feeds in a way that really works for remote broadcast. And a lot of people haven't really made the switch to remote yet. Everyone's been trying, but we were just primed and ready for it. So we pivoted hard, and we actually saw an increase in revenue over the COVID year, despite all of the challenges that we faced.
Before we came on live today and you and I were talking, we were talking about that, of course, esports and gaming is a large focus of Activate's business, but that you're actually able to and do work in a lot of industries. So tell us a little bit about the other space that you're in.
So outside of esports, we've been working with companies like the World Series of Poker. We've worked with Fox Sports, Caesars Entertainment, obviously, our partner. So we've been doing a lot of stuff that is focuses on bringing information to an audience that hasn't been able to really access it over the past year. So we've been finding ways to get that message out and get these people in contact with their audience.
So talk about how are you planning to grow? I know Activate has big plans for expansion, so talk about what you guys are looking for on the horizon.
So we just started our Series A round of funding. Right now we're raising, and that's going to give us the opportunity to really get not just grow our business, but grow the whole state, actually, because there's a lot of need for greater services and facilities for these really large companies like your Netflixes, your Prime Videos that want to record. You'll have them record a little bit on the strip, but after that, there aren't really the tools in place for them to accommodate these large productions and film outside of just broadcast. If we're talking about traditional television and film, that we want to expand and open up those doors for not just us, but all of Nevada. There's a lot of opportunity there. So beyond broadcast, beyond esports, there's huge opportunity here for not just Activate, but all of Nevada.
I hear job creation. That's what I hear.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's something that we're really considering right now.
Well, all of that sounds really amazing, and I know that you guys are amazing, and every interaction that I've had with you has been nothing short of first class and professional, and your output is terrific. So
Appreciate that.
let's see if we can keep you on for just a second to see if we've got any questions from our audience today about Activate. And, well, actually, we did have a question, and it is, how can other SBDC clients or innovators collaborate with Activate? And are you available to work with, are you available for small jobs and working with businesses?
Absolutely. We're open to anything at this point. So if you're in the building right now, just bother Chris. He'll give you a card. If not, you can reach out to us at our website, actentgroup.com, or you can email me, ford@actentgroup.com, to start that conversation.
Okay, terrific. Well, Ford, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm glad you got a chance to talk about Activate. I know I'm pretty excited and pumped up on you guys, so I'm glad to get the chance to share you with everyone else today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And we did have a question that came in between last week and this week, and it was about the makerspace, and we've actually had a few questions come in on this topic. So I want to just quickly touch on that and make really clear the process for using the makerspace. So if you are a small business owner and you're a client of the SBDC, the first step is going to be that you're going to reach out to your client advisor, your business advisor, about wanting to use the makerspace, and you'll be set up with an orientation session. At that point, you'll be able to place orders with our tech team who can process it. They can work with you on your file to get it over to the printer or the router or the laser cutter, whatever it is that you're working on. At this time, because we're still under COVID restrictions, we can't have everyone coming into the makerspace itself. At some point, hopefully in the future, maybe we'll see a change to that, but it's not anything that we're looking at immediately. So it's going to be a remote relationship where you're going to place your order with our makerspace team. And if you're not familiar with the programs to create the files to send over to have your things created, that's okay, because we have a team that can help you do all of those things. So the best way, again, to reach out to your advisor and set up the orientation. And once we've done that, we can connect you with the technical team in the makerspace to start the process of production. So just reach out and we can talk to you about that. And I did have another question that came in. Oh, well, somebody's asking what's the makerspace. So for those of you who haven't joined us before, and I'm referring to the makerspace as if you already know what it is, let me refresh you. Here at Blackfire, we have a makerspace facility, which is a workshop and lab that has traditional tools and also cutting-edge technology like robotics and 3D printers for small business owners to do everything from developing prototypes if they have an invention that they're working on, to improving tools that they're already using in their business, to perhaps launching their startup with maybe using our textile equipment to have branded merchandise or a first run sampling, something like that. So we can really do a lot with our makerspace, and we do have a full list of all the tools and equipment available. So if you're interested and if you'd like that available to you, just reach out to me at jamie.schwartz@unlv.edu, and I'll be happy to provide that to anyone. We had one other question, which was, is Blackfire available to be visited any time of the day? And the answer to that is we would prefer that you make an appointment. We can have a tour, especially of the shared workspace on our third floor. We do have a Cooperate shared office space. You can have a flexible arrangement there, renting enclosed office space, hot desks, and things like that. And that's actually where our makerspace is located as well. And we're happy to give you a tour, and Quarn would be happy to give you a tour there. But let's make an appointment first, just so that we're not all crowding in at the same time, especially during COVID. And let's see if we have any other questions this week. And it does not look like we have any more questions from our audience and our viewers. So I would invite you to join us next Tuesday, 10 a.m. We will try to be on time next week, and we'll avoid the technical glitches that kept us late today. Again, thanks for being patient this morning, and we will see you next week on Tech Tuesday. Bye.